staying with the agenda today, and let's tell you what that question of the day that we're asking you today is, and I'll give it to you in a bit. All right, we're asking you about your expectations with regards to the Constitutional Court judgment involving the CR17 campaign, and of course, two questions being asked in that judgment today about the CR17 campaign and the dishonesty or honesty of the president and the legitimacy of the Public Protector's Office in investigating some of the aspects of that campaign. Let us know what your thoughts are at the agenda_SABC. Let's take you to this international story now. One of the largest political parties in the world is celebrating its 100th anniversary today. The Chinese Communist Party has ruled the People's Republic of China since the late 1940s. Reportedly, it has more than 90 million members. To look at the celebrations in China, we're now joined live by our correspondent in Beijing, Patrick Fok. It's morning for us, Patrick, but it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon where you are. What has been happening on this historic day in China?
Yeah, well, it has been a very, very big day indeed, and the celebrations all took place earlier this morning. We didn't see the sort of massive military parades that we're often accustomed to in China. This was nevertheless a celebration. There was a flyover with fighter jets and helicopters, and there was also a big choral group, a 3,000 strong choral group singing socialist songs. But arguably this was a much more solemn affair than we're used to during these sort of ceremonial events that happen in the capital, perhaps because of wanting to reflect on the importance of this milestone, and also perhaps because of the focus of the weight of President Xi Jinping's words. He talked about the successes of the Communist Party, and in particular about the Marxist system with Chinese characteristics which had helped lift the Chinese nation out of poverty and now to become the second largest economy in the world. But the key headline really today was the message that China sent out to some of its rivals in the West, perhaps one might see it that way, saying that China will not be bullied, it will not be oppressed, and he warned that anyone that tried to do that would have their heads smashed against a great wall of steel forged with the blood and flesh of more than 1.4 billion Chinese people. So some very rousing words there indeed, and no doubt that was designed certainly to invoke a sense of patriotism and nationalism among people, but also to send a very strong message to outside forces as well.
I always struggle to get my head around that massive population number of China that runs into the billions. But you were talking about reflection. Just how has the Chinese Communist Party managed to retain power for so long?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, and certainly events like these are aimed partly to legitimize its ongoing reign. It has been in power now for 100 years, and it's been the only party in control of the country since the founding of the People's Republic of China, and it has kept a very tight grip on power, and more so under Xi Jinping, arguably, than ever before. So this is a critical juncture, and so that is why we're seeing the leadership and the party emphasizing the importance of continuing on this journey to the next 100 years we've been hearing, and to confront these challenges together. So as I say, this is an important milestone for the country, and these sorts of occasions are very much used to build up that loyalty and sense of faith among the Chinese people. That has also been helped by other factors as well, including the outbreak, of course, and people have shown strong support to the party because of the way that it's handled the COVID-19 outbreak, and because of the containment of the disease, and also because of this growing rivalry, this intensifying rivalry with the West. That is also something that has built greater support for the party among the people, if you like.
And the party's leader, Xi Jinping, has been in China's president since 2013. How would you describe his tenure?
Well, President Xi has been elevated to the status of Mao Zedong, the founding father of the CPC. So this is a different leadership. We expect it to go on for much longer. He reached the age of 68 this year. That is the year that most Chinese leaders would retire. But of course, he scrapped term limits a few years ago, and many people here expect him to continue leading until 2035. And a lot of people in China see that perhaps as being a positive thing, because it means that he'll be able to fulfill some of the promises, including one very important thing that he talked about today, which was the reunification of Taiwan. He talked about the importance of that, and that it was the mission of the Communist Party to bring Taiwan back into the fold, to bring it back into the fold of the motherland, and that it was the aspiration of the Chinese people as well.
Yeah. So today is also an opportunity for other countries to reflect on this party's reach beyond its own borders. Talk to us about the party's influence in world bodies like the United Nations and the World Health Organization.
Yeah, well, much has been said about China's influence over the World Health Organization in particular, and that is one of the reasons perhaps why there has been this sort of backlash in the West, notably because of the outbreak and what is seen in the West as a sort of lack of transparency and secrecy, something that's also fueled calls for a better look into the so-called lab leak theory. But certainly China's influence has grown as it's become a bigger and more powerful nation over the past 100 years, and we would expect that tension with Western countries to continue moving forward the way things stand.
Patrick Fok, thank you so much for giving us a sense of a celebration in China as the Communist Party marks 100 years of existence. To get some background on China's Communist Party, we joined now